alive
space travel
with
before
people like
there
Mr.
was
Burroughs,
space
first
travel.
of all.
Now there is.
Right.
What is space travel going to do for man?
Space travel is going to enable us to live forever. That's its most important function. Yes, we wish to guard the gift of life. Kazantzakis puts it very well in his most remarkable book, which no one has read, very few people have read it, The Saviors of God. And in the book he says, God cries out to be saved. We go to save him. That's what space travel is all about. In this part of the universe, God has wakened on this planet and shaped himself the way we are shaped. We are the flesh of the universe which wishes to know itself. That's great. That's responsible. That's beautiful. It's a very nice concept of religion, one I'm very comfortable with. I like to think of myself as part of the universe waking up and looking around saying, hey, this is remarkable. Look at this. I have all these senses. I'd like to keep this gift going.
You find no conflict between religion and science, then?
Absolutely none. They are the processes they're going through are the two halves of a coin, because everything ends in mystery. I mean, the scientists have theories, and the theologians have myths, and they're both the same thing, because we end up in ignorance. We don't know what gravity is. We have theories about light, but they're only theories, which are being revised. Even Mr. Einstein is coming under scrutiny again in the last few years with some of his theories. These will be revised and changed in the next 100 years, and again 100,000 years from now. The important thing is we should gather as much data as we can, as many facts as we need, and on these base our theories, which help us to survive. And where the mystery begins, theology takes over. So it's two halves of the same coin. We have to think about the unthinkable, which is what religion does, and science does too at times, trying to figure out what in the heck's going on. You know, how did we get here? Where did we come from? Where are we going? We don't have the answers, and we never will have them. So we make do with theory and with theology. And with the two of them as tools, one to work with the basic facts, one to take up where the mystery begins, we'll make do and go on into the future and live for 3 billion years in space, not just here, but on out to the stars. That's what space travel is all about. Of the same kind. We have to.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second half of Truth Tuesday. There it seems to be an echo, and I've been looking all over these different pages for it. But oh my God, what if it was Lisa? I was just going. Tools. No, I just heard it. It said as tools. Where are you, you bastard?
You have something playing.
You can hear it?
Yeah. I could.
Can you hear it now?
No.
Okay. See, I okay. It's not saying anything now, but all right. Well, there's a lot of people on the stream. Okay, thank you all. Please hit the like button.
Nope, there it is.
Yeah, I heard it. It said, "Where are you, bastard?" That was actually creepy to hear me say that.
You have something playing.
Mhm.
You have the video playing somewhere else.
Yeah, I know that, Lisa. I'm trying to find it. Okay, so it's not here. Is it here? There's nowhere. I'm going to pause that. Am I going to Twitch? No. 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 Oh, that guy was a jerk.
You have the video. You would love this. You just have me telling you twice.
Come on.
I disagree with you.
It's not there. What about here? I know there's some little tab with a microphone or a little speaker on it. Okay, so that's not it. I'm gonna pause that.
Okay, so G Graham says, ooh, I finally found this channel. Or he didn't say ooh, but he said something else. So I always have a link to Sean's channel in the description of our video on the first half of my show. So if you're looking for it, go watch the first half. Look in the description. You can find the link. If you're watching this later, you're seeing this. So you know where Sean's channel is. I guess it's not helpful.
I don't think I found it because that was turned down all the way.
You can still hear it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's just it's weird. It's a ghost.
Maybe only you're hearing it.
Okay.
Nope, I can hear it too.
I don't know where it is. So, okay.
Yeah.
Why is it so sporadic? It's not like constantly.
It's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like someone's messing with me or something. That is very weird. Okay.
I wouldn't know. So that video you just played was interesting. That reminded me of kind of the first part of,
I don't know where.
or the Gene Ho comment where people are forgetting. And he was saying, like, I do disagree with his thing where he was saying, like, religion leads you to ask more questions, because I think they want to tell you the answer, not have you ask more questions. But very interesting.
I liked because he was talking about how the similarities between science and religion and how it can.
So that video you just.
Damn it. You started talking again. Okay, hold on. I have to shut everything down.
Like, you're gonna leave me here alone?
No. Yeah, I might just do that. No, I'll do that. Leave the site.
You don't hear double me every once in a while. I am when I'm not talking.
I shut down a lot of stuff, so we'll go with this now.
Okay.
I think I heard it. Okay, well, we talked about the truckers thing over on Lisa's and the I keep wanting to say Pimpy. We have Paulie Beyond, and he is a trucker, and was talking about how it doesn't make sense, and a lot of things it doesn't, because most truckers, because trucks are very expensive. I don't know, they cost, if you people know, it costs as much as like a cheap Lamborghini or a Ferrari. Those
a home. Yeah.
Yeah, the trucks cost like
What a house.
$250. Very, very expensive. So to be able to own, still here. To be able to own one of those trucks is like a lifelong dream. I'm gonna shut this one down. How about that?
It's very rare, yeah, to own your own truck. And even the people that do own them typically have loans on them. And so they have to keep working to be able to pay their loan, because that's their job. That's how they take care of their family, all that. That's what Paulie was kind of explaining to us the other night on Twitter Spaces. And I think he brought up an interesting point, because the lawsuit with the Peekaboo James and all that is about Trump's business stuff, and him. They said that he misstated his value, or his how much his property was worth or whatever, and that the banks and his dealings and all that. And Paulie was like, you know what? That's his personal stuff. Why should I risk my business and my livelihood for his personal issues? That wasn't about the vote or about stealing. And then also these truckers that are supposedly not delivering or making deliveries, which they probably aren't, but that's not probably why. They probably weren't anyway, as Paulie pointed out. There has been a decline or shortage of deliveries to those dangerous areas. They were really hurting not only themselves, job opportunities, but the people that live there. That doesn't hurt, the big wigs or whatever. So
yeah, but, I mean, I think we've gotten to the point where if we're talking about a civil war, then New Yorkers got to die. That's what a war is. So you got to hurt those people, and if they don't like it, then they have to fix their shit where they're at, and they're starting to get that way now.
But
oh my
not
God,
because
the
Trump
crap out of
was.
cops. Oh my God, now this is happening. Oh my God, now my kids.
But think about the reason that they're saying they're doing it. They're saying they're doing it because Trump got ordered to pay this large amount for overstating his wealth, and
yeah, that's weird, and that does make it look like unhinged Trump people are destroying things and hurting people. That does go on with that op kind of thing. But I think we're at the point where, and I want to go into that, where states are saying, we're this way, you're that way, we disagree, we need to have a divorce or we're going to have a fight. And that's just the way I think it is. That's the point that we're at. If it gets worse, if it gets violent, then it gets violent and things get terrible. But
I don't think it has to. I mean, that's
it
where
doesn't
like
have to,
the
but according to history, it usually does. You know, that's the way it is. It doesn't have to, ever. Well, we don't have to be sending a bunch of stuff to Ukraine. Who didn't have to invade? There's so many things that didn't have to happen, but they usually do. That's how it is. So I don't know, but it does seem like New York's starting to wake up. Like, oh my God, we can't just, say things need to be hunky dory and perfect and sunshine and rainbows. We can't do these things.
well, and Chicago's not far behind. I mean, they're a ghost town.
Yeah.
As well.
Like they're saying, oh, bring in all these migrants, bring in all these illegal aliens, and now it's like, oh, my kid can't go and to his little league because the gym's full of people. Oh, now they're beating the crap out of cops. Oh, now it just, there's so much like, oh, this is crazy. And it seems like sane people like, yeah, you had people coming from like war-torn, terrible, lawless countries and not families, but, fighting age dudes. And they're all in one place. It's just, what do you expect? There's not a lot of accountability. There's not a lot of, they didn't come through the system. They don't know, hey, you have to abide by, they literally came in, they walked in saying, I don't give a fuck. And they were like, you go, girl, come on in. I mean, they came in illegally. They walked in as lawbreakers, and they're like, no problem. That's the way it is. Hey, let's put you on a plane and give you some stuff. Here's some money. There's literally.
Yeah, well, like I showed in that video, they're welcomed with translators and attorneys given to them and a place to stay and gift cards. And so is that the same thing as them opening the door for the J6ers?
Even if the door was wide open and they're like, everyone could come in, open borders. But when they walk through, they're like, hey, man, you need to learn this history. You need to have this. You need to pass this test. You need to do this. We'll kick you out. We don't want, you. There's all like, it's a completely different way that they're coming in. They're coming in and they're saying, you are coming in here. The first thing you're doing on our soil is breaking the law. And it's fine. If we're going to just let people come in, then we need to let them come in and say, you need to adhere to a bunch of strict shit. And then
they're enabling them to break the law.
Exactly. And they're enabling them to be dicks. They're enabling them to be assholes, to think that they are better. You said it a million times. You were talking about it on your channel. They're replacing military soldiers that had been in the military for years. They were kicked out. They're replacing them with people that are unvaccinated because the soldiers weren't going to take the vaccination. They're coming in saying, hey, you're coming in illegally. And then there's so many things that they're doing to basically tell them you're better than our citizens. I mean, how can you not expect a child to be petulant if you're constantly telling them it's everyone else's fault, you're better than everyone else, you're better than the people around you? I mean, come on. We're literally creating this monster and then acting shocked when it acts like a monster. But I want to talk about this militarization thing that is happening. I don't know if you were going to talk about the Oklahoma thing and you never did.
Oh, well, I was too excited when Paulie came on. I wanted to get all the information from him. There was the history of the Oklahoma Reserve Republic Army, and then that recently, I just posted a thing on my shorts about
Share your thing on that. I want you to talk about it real quick while we
the Australia thing.
know about the Oklahoma.
Oh.
Because Texas is doing some crazy stuff, and I've been talking about the Texas Guard, how it's different than the National Guard, how no one's saying that, no one's talking about it, even if they nationalize our National Guard, we still have a Texas Guard that is not any way connected to the federal government, and the Air Guard.
Okay, so this is the 1896 Grand Army of the Republic encampment in Enid, Oklahoma, taken from the corner of East Broadway, 2nd Street, looking southwest towards Hotel Rex, which was on Independence Street. And there was very interesting comments on this. It said, I was expecting them to be clone troopers. I may have a Star Wars problem. I forgot the OG Grand Army of the Republic was Union soldiers. LOL. Then this guy below says, an invasion by an immigrant army, intel on stealing the land and culture of the residents. I don't know. But I thought this was interesting. Talking about the Army of the Republic. Grand Army of the Republic. And our National Guard, our state National Guard is the 45th group or whatever, National Guard. I don't know if that is connected with this Grand Army of the Republic or how that's connected, but
there's clone troopers when I Google it. The Grand Army of the Republic, GAR, was a fraternal organization composed of veterans of the Union Army, Union Navy, and the Marines who served in the American Civil War. It was founded in 1866 in Decatur, Illinois, and grew to include hundreds of posts, local community units across the north and west. It was dissolved in 1956 at the death of its last member, Albert Woolson. The Grand Army of the Republic, the largest of all Union Army veterans organizations, was the most powerful single-issue political lobby in the late 19th century, securing massive pensions for veterans. So it's kind of like the NCOA or something like that, helping to elect 5 post-war presidents from its own membership. 5 presidents. It was also a secret fraternal order, a source of local charity, a provider of entertainment in small municipalities, and a patriotic organization, linking men through their experience of the war. GAR became among the first organized advocacy groups in American politics. Interesting. So 5 secret organization and 5 presidents came from that. That is wackadoo. All right. So I would like to talk about what is going on in Texas, because it's a little bit nuts. Have you heard about the what's going on with the forward base?
Mm-hmm.
Having grown up on military bases around the world, it's very I see what's happening. I watched, the governor talk about it, and then he had the general talk about it, and he had the czar talk about it. And I've talked about how it's very weird how he's mirrored the chain of command, just like the federal government. How Biden appointed Harris as the border czar. He, as a border czar, created the post. Never been, So it's completely set up, just like the federal government. It's not him. It's not the governor enacting certain things. It's the border czar.
Okay.
Very, very different. But so this camp it's not. It's a base. It's a military base. And if you ever grew up, or were in the military, you were in if you're in, we're in Germany or somewhere, it was like they were like little mini United States. There were like McDonald's or Burger. There was McDonald's, but there was like Burger King and other things in the military base. It was like a small town, American town, in whatever. If you're in Italy or wherever. So this base, and they're trying to sell it like, hey man, we got to pay for hotel rooms and all that for all these troops that are here, for our troops, and then there's people coming from other states, and it's very expensive. So it's going to be actually cheaper for us to build this base, and it's 80 acres, and even that like made something click. That's size. It reminded me of like full-on military bases that were like small towns. And then they started talking about the amenities. They're going to have hospitals. They're going to have, obviously barracks for the troops, but they're going to have like physical fitness centers. But they're going to have like psychological, mental health facilities, hospital facilities, entertainment. It's literally going to be like a full-on military base that you would think about in a foreign land. And then he was talking about how it's be quicker for us to get to certain points in certain places if there's an emergency or there's a crisis. And I started thinking about it, that it wouldn't take many of these to cover the entire border, like maybe 5. And Texas is massive, but you've got 5 or 6 of these bases, starting up by El Paso, coming down to like Brownsville and then down towards the tip, and then come up till you hit the shore. You're even 4, you could probably cover it. And this is going to house up to 2,500 to like 3,000 under, if they have a surge, like 3,000 troops. That's a lot for one place. But if you had a few of those set up, like I said, around the border, and there is already there's not even bases. There are compounds around Texas, but it's where like vehicles are, storage, and they're manned by the Guard. Not many people, but that's it's like a small, maybe 20-person force or less that runs it. Also, this base is going to have full-on mechanics base to fix like track vehicles and other vehicles. This is permanent. This isn't like they're putting some portable buildings or nice tents. This is a permanent military base.
That will be owned by the state.
Yeah, 100% owned by the state. The troops will be 100% by the state. So I saw over here this at Texas Military Department. And so I checked it out. Here we go. The official account for the Texas National Guard, Army and Air, and the Texas State Guard. So retweet, follow equals endorsement. Camp Mabry, Austin, Texas.
52 minutes ago, Georgia says they stand with Texas.
Really?
Yep, it just said it right there on their Twitter feed.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go over that. Duty, honor, Texas serving Texas. The Texas Military Department. I don't know other states have a military department, and look at this shit.
Apparently,
Like
they do.
So this isn't like other states. Have you seen anyone giving out water? Have you seen anyone? You know what I mean? All other like National Guard stuff is like hurricanes and giving food to people and blah, blah, blah. This is not. This is straight up fighting. So the Army Guard, the Air Guard, the State Guard, and if you notice they're on the water, Go Guard. Join the Guard today. I thought this was very, very interesting. I wanted to.
Well, I thought it was. I mean, I think all that's interesting, and I think that's. I know in Oklahoma they were doing some things. I noticed you're seeing how like the Guard and the state army are blending, or military is blending.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma, they were doing some things where they were blending like the sheriff and the highway patrol, and changing some of the training and the requirements for them as well. And I wonder if that was kind of some of the same effort and recruitment efforts for that. Also, just today, they were trying to pass something in Oklahoma where if the governor leaves the state, he has to like let them know or something, let the Congress people know or something. Because I guess in Texas recently, Hot Wheels was out of the state, out of the country. And who would have been making the calls during a lot of that? So then
The lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor or the somebody was saying somebody else. I can't remember who it was.
Well, making what decisions?
What's that?
Making what decisions?
As like all this invasion stuff was going on.
Well, that's the thing. There's the border czar now, and there's a chain of command. There's a general. There's a border czar. There's a general over all the operations, and then there's a governor. So a lot of those decisions are made by that chain of command. But this, and we talked about, I think what you just said is kind of a point that to me, that's like the next step. When I think this is Texas, I think will be the first state or to lead this, but it's states taking back control of their defense away from the U.S. military. The U.S. military doesn't do fuck for the United States anymore. They are an arm of the elite. They're an arm of corporations that make people money overseas. They're not defending our borders or defending our country. And I think this is the first one of the steps that states are going to take that away from the federal government and take responsibility. Basically, it's like carrying a weapon, arming yourself.
Yeah, I think this is. I think it's like the states are taking back personal responsibility. Yeah. Individuals, you're going to have to do the same thing. Like
the first step is to have a military. The second step, I think, is like you said, to integrate that militia or state military into law enforcement for everything, for riots, for natural disasters, for whatever. So it's all basically it's cutting the freaking federal government out of everything. And you're seeing Georgia, Florida. And we had talked about how Oklahoma is trying to get a state guard. They're trying to pass a state guard. Florida has a state guard. And
we weren't talking about. They already have a state guard.
I thought they were doing that.
No, not to my knowledge. I believe they already have one. Okay. But I'll look into it because I need to know. I want to know. That's a great question.
Florida, DeSantis is the one that started it. And he brings it up constantly that this is not the National Guard. This is a state guard that is completely under state control.
Well, see that we were just talking about where I showed you that was the old Republic. That was the state guard for Oklahoma.
No, those are a bunch of Northerners. It was formed in Illinois.
Grand Army of the Republic.
Yeah, that was a bunch of Northerners from Illinois. That was a political party. That was the biggest political party in the world, or in the United States. But Florida, they have their own. Louisiana, Tennessee. They're all, and these guys are posting this. This is reminiscent of like me growing up and like newsletters. We didn't have the internet, but like newsletters and commercials and things that were all about like your local community, and things that are, you know, that are on base and all. It's just very odd to see here, you know. And but you could see, dude, they're just, it's like patrol. It's like, hi, how y'all doing? Stay over there, you know.
Well, and then that goes to what Putin said, where he was like, you know, then you don't have a problem with China because we've come to a compromise because we've been neighbors with them for years. But you have to have those strong boundaries to have that healthy relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, this is all like looking down the road and thinking big, but can you imagine Texas on its own partnering with the Mexican government to clear out the cartels and to give Mexico back to its people? And then the agreements and treaty with us in Mexico, the amount of like power we would get as a state when we're already as huge as we are. But we would have to have some sort of autonomy to do those certain things on our own.
So I looked up the Oklahoma thing. It says the Oklahoma State Guard is the inactive state defense force of Oklahoma. If activated, the mission of the Oklahoma State Guard is to augment, assist, and support the Oklahoma National Guard and the civil authorities in Oklahoma. The State Guard under the command of the governor of Oklahoma as the commander-in-chief and adjutant. I don't know what the word is, but General of Oklahoma as the commanding officer. Created by the State Guard Act of 1941, Oklahoma State Guard cannot be federalized and cannot deploy outside of Oklahoma.
So you have one that's just inactive. So they just have to.
Yeah, but they can't come to Texas and help you.
They can't. Well, yeah, no, because
they cannot be deployed outside of Oklahoma.
Well, that can be changed though, but they're not active, so you can't do anything. But if they're reactivated, you can work on that. Oh, yeah. I mean, they could change that. Also, wanted to talk about this old fella.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.
He said that a long time ago. Lisa left.
Sorry, I had to go shut my blinds. I was being blinded by the lights.
Okay.
I was trying to shut my blinds.
All right, man for man.
Yeah, well, and
blinded by the light.
We had a representative here at like this luncheon thing where it was like that. It was like the weird, dark, satanic lighting like Joe Biden likes to use. And she's like, I don't know what you guys are so upset about. I mean, all that money we're sending over there comes back here in contracts.
She said it out. She said it out loud.
She said it out loud.
Phil, I don't think they are finding it in the unchapped, but they're horrifying. They are alien-looking, horrifying things. The North Leaf Califexo, that's one region. The rest of the country, united is kind of how I see it playing out. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't fall off my chair, but that's why I was trying to mute myself because this chair squeaks a lot ever since my husband started using it.
Yes.
Oh, my dogs. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He must have left.
You are my dogs.
That is what Rebel does when we leave her alone. So my husband must have left. I'm sorry.
My Willow 8, I got this like no sugar added Nesquik, like this big thing of it. She tore it down, ate it, and then proceeded to spray diarrhea all over the house for like 2 days, everywhere. Just I don't know how she had that much, but because it's chocolate, it's they're allergic to it. So, and then I bought. She
I
ate.
thought that could kill them.
Yeah, it could, like good chocolate. And it was a lot though. It was a big thing of Nesquik, and but she was just sick. And then she ate 4 boxes of cereal. Like, where's that strawberry special K I bought? And I'm like, well, I ate it. Where's all the rest of the cereal? Well, I ate it all. And she ate all the chocolates I got for Valentine's Day, all the stuffed animals I got for Valentine's Day. It was a big Krabby Patty heart full of Krabby Patties, gummies, and she only ate, like half of those. But yeah, she's been a terror, man. Poor dog. Psh, whatever. She knows what she had. There's 2 dogs. The other one doesn't do anything. Does nothing wrong whatsoever.
No.
They are adorable.
Oh, now maybe she'll stop crying. This is the noisy one. Is crying, Rebel. And then Remington Justice just wants to be up on my shoulder.
Oh, so this one. Look at this. Did you hear about this?
Oh, this is National Love Your Pet Day. We didn't even know.
You don't know.
We're talking
So you
about.
heard about this? You know what this? What's the deal with circus peanuts? Circus peanuts. You see where my mind's at? It's airline peanuts, but a glitch causing unmailed Nevada ballots to show up as counted. That should be talked about, and it is not.
There's lots of things that should be talked about.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, post in the comments what your dogs or cats' names are, or how many you have.
People are pissed because AI is starting to take like art jobs, and it's like, hey, if AI takes your job, that's innovation. If it takes my job, it's fascism.
Still, be good.
What I think that's about. This is long, but it's 2014. She was assistant secretary,
Who is that?
ambassador to Ukraine.
Oh, Victoria Nuland.
Yeah, for the
I want
Obama.
to read that. Send that to me, and I will post it in the Telegram chat for everybody.
But it's long, but it's like it's insane.
Yeah,
It's insane that that's there, and like nobody cares or talks about it, or it should be so huge. And but then again, even if it was, no one that can do anything will do anything unless
okay.
do something, and we're not doing anything. Herbert. Yeah, I want to find more about that. Living my our dog was 21. 21.
It's true.
Yeah. A scorpion, a tarantula, and a python.
That was quite a trio.
Intelligence agencies and military in control of the West. Yes.
I just heard there was an explosion in California and the FBI is involved somehow. Supposedly, allegedly. I don't know. Rebel, stop crying. I'm right here. Come here. Okay. She can't decide what she wants.
All right. So I sent you that link there.
Thank you. I'll put it in the Telegram group for everybody.
No, that was fine. This dude posted, it was like I didn't like. Let me see if it's. Did I go to the post? No. He was like, look at how strong Biden is today. And he was like, you could tell he was really concentrating on just walking to the helicopter. That's the thing about the trucker strike. Will Chardonnay, you posted that. That's Batty Streams. I think that's pretty much it. This woman says, we have to listen to the kids, raising 2 trans kids. One of them 6. So like my 6-year-old is smarter than me. This was
If you're
hilarious.
sexualizing a 6-year-old, something's wrong with you. Come here. You want to come here?
This guy was talking about how these books need to be taken out of the school. And then he was like, I want to read an excerpt from this. And then they were like kicking him out because he was reading pornography.
So they're having a huge book sale at our, the Oklahoma City library. And one of the moms was saying it's because it's like, I guess the downtown library, because they went woke. And so they're throwing out like all these really good books and leaving all this trash in the library. Stop crying. Oh, you're so chubby. And so, I don't know, you guys might check around and see if they're throwing out good books, if this is the way of book burning or whatever right now. If they're having book sales in your local area this weekend. Try to save the books, save the knowledge, put it on the blockchain. What's that movie where the guy invents the thing that scans the books and puts it on the blockchain?
I don't know.
They can't go outside because the sun will burn them up. I'm a terrible movie.
You want the Book of Eli?
Don't you know what?
No. He has a Bible, but it's Braille.
No, it's just
He
builds a robot or something because a robot can go out in the sun. Do you guys know what I'm talking
starting
about?
to make some sense, yeah. What's the one? I think it was an episode of Buffy. Or it was Angel, where they're scanning books, and one of them's an evil book. You have to, if you read it, you like release its demon or something, and because they scan it, technically the computer's reading the book, so the demon goes in the computer. You have to fight it. That's pretty good.
No, that's not what I was thinking of.
Book burning is an old term. The new term is called censorship. You know, that's very interesting. When you're talking about blockchain, I think we'll probably wrap it up after this. But
I got my movie dogs.
I was listening to someone, not a blockchain person. And we talk about this on World Blockchain Roundtable. Check out mainly on Thursdays, World Blockchain Roundtable. But
Dragon Chain.
This person was talking about how throughout history, American Indians, savages, stupid, made things out of their poop or whatever, not very bright. Nomadic people, savages, which I always thought was dehumanizing people so how you can kill them and people don't care. But there's, I think, so much more when you start to look at their level of technology and what some of those tribes had created. It is not what you think. But if you beat a people, you can write history or just write the present. And I mean, you can have someone look. You can look at a town and say, "Oh, this is a huge town," and they can say, "No, this is just a set. Those are all facades. It's not a real town.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a real. Those aren't real buildings." I'm like, "Oh, really? So it's not a real town? Oh, but it was a real town. But they just told you that, And then it'll be remembered as it was never a real town there, even though that was a real town and people lived there, and they went and killed everyone there." And then someone was like, "Hey, where are all the people in this town?" And it's not a real town. Just
yeah.
I'm kind of babbling, but that's what.
No, but the victors write the history. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's so many. They were talking about that and so many examples of of how things have been changed. And there's stuff that we know about, like different empires that don't want us to know about, and things that are supposedly to be kept hush hush, but it's so bad. And then you think about, if that was just on blockchain, they couldn't change that. You know what I mean? And it brings it back to what Roger Ver said to me. Just the casualness of how he said it still gets me. It's like, well, real history didn't, wasn't invented until blockchain was invented, because we could always just change it. I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, there's a lot of stuff I've seen, and this is, just me saying this makes me feel weird and nervous, but like about Hitler and how, like, really smart, good things that he did that helped bring him to power, but you can't talk about that. You can't know that. It's just the psycho at the end.
Well, I think that's what Putin was trying to tell people, is like how dangerous that could be.
Yes.
Is that, look at what happened in Ukraine. They're walking with flags and they think Nazis are good, and that can be really dangerous.
Mm-hmm. But also, I've made the point, without Russia, there would be no America. Russia saved the whole reason we have a country is because Russia's one of the biggest reasons. Russia, England said, hey, you're our ally. You need to support us and help us fight these colonists. And Catherine said, no, we think that they're legitimate, and we won't help them, but we'll give them humanitarian aid. But we won't help them militarily, but we're not going to fight. We're not going to go fight.
Oh, well, that's what we're doing with Ukraine.
So that's number one. We would be
we were
have a country, and then when the North is fighting the South about slavery, Russia said any country that legitimizes the Southern United States, Russia will go to war with immediately. And no country would legitimize or side with the United States, or with the Confederate United States of America. Spain was going to send troops, but would not recognize it as a country. And if any country had recognized the Southern United States as a country, there could have been treaties. We could have, gotten aid from enemies of England and whoever was siding with the Union. But Russia literally said the Russian Empire will go to war with any country that legitimizes or recognizes the Confederate States of America as a country. No one teaches that. That is a huge thing. But I had to learn about it from the fat electrician.
At least you learned. You were willing to listen. And they were talking about the 19th Amendment. Is it the 19th Amendment today? I think it was the 19th Amendment that got women's rights and suffrage. I was like, that's not actually accurate. Actually, George Washington couldn't vote, but Martha could, because landowners could vote. And the 19th Amendment was about allowing people who didn't have land rights to be able to vote. It wasn't even about women. But once again, Roe versus Wade is not about abortion. The 19th Constitution is not about women. But
the Lusitania?
Yes, the Lusitania they sunk the Lusitania to start. Sorry, I start doing my hands homeschooling stuff to start before they started World War II. Yeah, that was and it killed Americans.
What about the Olympia?
Remember the Lusitania?
The Olympia was the sister ship to the Titanic, which was made first, and was a mirror ship to the Titanic. For some reason, they don't talk about that. Because you know why? That's the ship that was sank, was the Olympia.
Interesting.
You know what ship was massively overinsured? The brand new Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Olympia, the U.S. government, what's the word? Not acquired. When the cop pulls the badge out and goes, "I am commandeered." The U.S. government commandeered the Olympia as a troop transport ship, and in World War I believe, and it was struck, and it may have been World War II. Anyway, it was damaged in the war, and so the owners, I believe, was J.P. Morgan, his family, and they went to the government and said, "Hey, okay, we let you use our ship, but we need money to fix this now." And the government's like, "Thank you for your service. We're broke, but you guys, you're doing all right. So you handle that." So they fixed it, but it was off. It was askew. The ship would lean to one side just a little bit, but it was in service still. So they had built the Titanic, the second ship, mirror ship. And on the maiden voyage, the Titanic, when it was going to go out, a lot of people talked about, it's weird how this new ship has this lean to one side. Overinsured, other things about killing the bankers and starting the World Bank, all that. How J.P. Morgan or whoever gets on and then gets off right after the other two people get on, who are going to vote against it. They were going to the United States to have this big vote. And so basically it's the Olympia that they have now swapped out for the brand new Titanic, which is a perfectly brand new ship. They sink the Olympia, which is massively overinsured. They make tons and tons of money. Get rid of killing these two bankers so they don't have to, so that they win the vote and can start a World Bank. And then the new Olympia, who is now completely perfect, straight, no leaning, was in service for like 20 years or something after that. There you go. Talking. Yeah.
Other people talk about cyber attacks as well. So interesting. In the chats and as things are flying by.
That hooker named Sandy. I want to get into more moon stuff. I don't want to just research it because there's so much craziness about the moon. Also, the Van Allen belt, it's not that hard to get through.
Bullshit.
Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
I disagree.
It's like a donut. It's like two donuts because there's two of them.
I'm not going into this with you. I'm not doing this today. And we can talk about it with Johnny sometime.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. You're always talking about it, so I did research on it all week.
Good.
Yeah. It's actually pretty.
You've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They could make 11 trips to the moon and back before it. No, hold on. Yes, 11 trips to the moon and back before it was lethal radiation.
We'll see.
Yeah. Actually 12, but 11. All right, you guys, it was good hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Remember to subscribe. Did I don't think I did this one. I'll leave you all with this one.
Justice will come for Julian Assange, but it will not come from within those courts. It will come with you. It will come with us in these streets. They know how corrupt this process is. They understand fully the judicial pantomime that they have engaged in from the inception to crucify the most courageous, most important journalists of our generation, and they are hoping they will not be called out. They are hoping that we will not react. They were hoping that we will not speak out. It is the pressure that you exert on these mandarins of injustice that will free Julian. And I want to thank everyone for coming today, because it is this force in this street and streets throughout the world that will finally bring Julian home. Thank you.